Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today. This is your video number 1 out of 2. We are starting off with the match review for the game that took place last night, or in the early hours of the morning here in the UK, where Chelsea took on Borussia Dortmund. We're going to get cracking throughout all the madness that occurred last night, or well, was it really madness? There was a lot that went down, but we'll go through it all. Before we do, I'll make sure to let you know that for one, to catch video number 2 later on and to be aware of what's going on this channel, you have to be subscribed. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit that notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded. On top of that, make sure you head into the description for all the social media links, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok, for all extra little bits of Younes Talks Football content, as well as my daily thoughts and opinions that I post on Twitter. Make sure you're following at Younes Talks Football on Insta, at Y Talks Football on Twitter, and at Younes Talks Football on TikTok. Let's get cracking. Now, it finished 1-1, and I want to say this off the bat, right? I'm happy it finished this way. I'm happy we didn't win. You're probably thinking, what? You mad? No. This is a blessing in disguise. We needed this sort of result. We needed this sort of game where we were losing, where we managed to claw ourselves back, despite the performance, because the performance didn't warrant a loss. We didn't deserve to lose, right? So a draw at the end of the day is probably a fair result when you consider how Borussia Dortmund played as well, and the way that they were getting everything that they needed to get done. And they did, and fair play to their display. Overall, I feel like a draw is fair. You could argue we deserved to win, and had it not been for certain circumstances, which we're going to get into, then maybe we would have won. But the fact that we did go down, and then we clawed it back, is needed. Because if you just win, maybe you can get a bit carried away. I'm not talking about us as fans. Us as fans, we're fans. We're fans. We're happy, we're sad, we're sad. It is what it is. But the players are the ones that have the control and have the ability to affect things. So when they just win, and in pre-season, you can go into the season thinking you are everything when you're really not. And it's good to be a little bit humble. The last time, just to prove that, the last time we went by, I think, winning every single game, or when we went unbeaten, if I'm not mistaken, one of them, or maybe it was both, in pre-season was under AVB. Now look how we ended that season. Well, we ended it with a Champions League, but with AVB, it was catastrophic during the season. So, well, I say catastrophic. We've hit new levels of low with last season, but we're not going to talk about that because last season never happened. I don't know what you're talking about. Let's get cracking into what went down last night. And the first half, look, we started off with, let me go through the lineup. We went with Kepa, Reece James, Ben Chilwell, Levi Colwill, Thiago Silva. That, I think, is going to be the back four going into the season. I've got something to say about the back four, so we'll probably start off with that. Conor Gallagher, Enzo Fernandez just in front in the double pivot. I've got something to say about that as well. We've had Chukwuemeka in the 10. You could say Nkunku on his right and Sterling on his left. I've got something to say about that too. And Nicholas Jackson up top. I've got something to say about Nicholas Jackson too. So we're going to go through the phases. We're going to go through the steps. There were substitutions made pretty early for one player, and then later on, quite late, we ended up seeing players come on for Chelsea, and we'll get to that towards the end. We started off, I would say, playing pretty well. We were good. We moved the ball pretty well. We break lines pretty well. And this game against Dortmund was crucial for us to have. Why? Because we were coming up against a team that provided us with a very, very, very good test. We needed this test. The way that Dortmund use the gegenpress, don't they? But they do it perfectly, they do it pretty well. They do it quite effectively. The way that they were applying as much pressure on us as they possibly could in order for us to react and, pass the ball quickly, move it quickly, move not just the ball but yourselves quickly, get into those positions quickly. We had to up the tempo. That's a great test that we need to go through in pre-season before we start the season. So I'm very happy that we faced Dortmund, and it was a good test for us at the end of the day, because when you saw Dortmund and the way that they were not just moving, the way that they were applying pressure, trying to win the ball up the pitch, not just that, but the way that they were constantly switching play and catching us off guard sometimes, where we were maybe at times you could argue not concentrating defensively. We'll come to why in a sec. But on the contrary, when we did have the ball, we were, I feel like, quite effective in being able to break lines of press. We were able to get balls into offensive areas pretty efficiently. And there were certain link-ups and combinations that we were using that looked pretty good, I have to say. Very, very good. Especially up top between Nkunku, Jackson, Chukwuemeka. Chukwuemeka was pretty involved and I liked what he had to do. He didn't really set a foot wrong in that 10. So fair play. The double pivot surprised me. I'll come to that. But if we start off in the defence, Levi Colwill, Thiago Silva looks pretty solid. Looks pretty solid. Now, Levi Colwill, I have to say, defensively, class. He had a great game. Overall, had a great game. But there were 2 chances he could have scored. One, I have to, yes, it was right next to the goal. You could argue it was difficult for him to get his foot, over it. He got it under it and it went up. Yes. The second one, instead of using his right foot, he used his left foot, in the second half when he could have scored from that cross that came across the goal. Where's your right foot, Levi? Where's your right foot? I was hoping he'd score. When he missed that first chance, I was like, you know what? If he gets himself into a good position, he might score. And he almost did. It would have been a good story. But overall, very solid. Those 2 together look brilliant. And I want to say very quickly, because I might forget, when Bashir Humphries came on in the second half, he's had a very, very good pre-season. Very good pre-season. I didn't expect that from Bashir Humphries, if I'm being completely honest. He looks better than what I anticipated. So fair play to him. But Thiago Silva, Levi Colwill look solid. Now, Reece James and Ben Chilwell. I want to say, going forward, look great. As normal, right? When we look to last season and even the season before, they were basically our strikers. They were the ones getting goals for us. So it's no doubt that I feel they might put in stinkers going forward. They're not going to. Defensively, not a bad game, but there's one thing that we were constantly getting dominated on. And that's whenever Borussia Dortmund decided to switch the ball. We were too narrow. Way too narrow. I'm talking those 2, Chilwell and James. Way too narrow. Every time Dortmund, whether it's Ben Sebaini or whether it's their right back, and they try to switch the ball over to Ben Sebaini or their right back, depending on what side it's going to, whoever the fullback is, not tight enough at all. All the time and space in the world for that opposing right back or left back to just receive the ball and then penetrate themselves into the space and create a threat, And then at times we don't defend it well, or we get the blocking, we can see the corner. We can avoid it. We can avoid that, and we did later on, and I'll come to that. But Reece James and Chilwell, overall good games. Didn't really set much of a foot wrong, at least on the ball. Reece James, I do suspect, is not as fast as he was before his injury. I do want to pinpoint that out because there is the whole Malo Gusto debate going on now. And this is where I'm going to talk about the replacements. Now, Cucurella and Gusto came on in the second half. Cucurella, I have to say, on this occasion, look, we criticise Cucurella, right? But that mistake that he made that put Borussia Dortmund out basically on goal, 1-on-1, right? And then they fluffed it, was actually a tackle. And that tackle, when he went and caused the tackle and he won the ball, but that pass basically just ended up going right into Dortmund's path, didn't it? In order to create a 1-on-1. You could argue, yes, he could have tackled him differently. It wasn't. I feel like it was a naive mistake, or maybe not a mistake in terms of just giving the ball away. He actually made the tackle and did win the ball, but that ended up as a consequence of giving Dortmund the ball back very, very quickly. So, yeah, Cucurella, you have to say, it just adds on for him, doesn't it? In terms of this pre-season, we're glad to have Chilwell. Let's just say that, glad to have Chilwell. But let's see what's going to happen with Cucurella, because overall he's not had a fantastic pre-season in terms of performances, fitness and all that. Yeah, he looks better, but performance-wise. Now Reece James, as I said, I think because of his injury is not looking as fast. You can tell that he's reacting really well and he's getting himself into good positions and all of that. But Ben Sebaini gave him a very, very good test yesterday. Now, I know Ben Sebaini pretty well because he's an Algerian senior international. And I've seen him play when he was in Algeria before he came to Europe. I remember Ben Sebaini when he was 14, 15 years old. I remember watching him at that time. When I saw Ben Sebaini play yesterday, he had He had Sterling on strings. I'm just going to say that now. We'll come to Sterling later. Reece James gave him that horrendous tackle where he got booked for it, didn't he? And or did he get booked for it? Or maybe if he did, if he didn't, he should have. But actually, no, he did. I remember the commentator going, "Oh, why yellow card?" And then you see the replays like, "Oh, okay, yeah, it could have been worse." Unintentional. But Ben Sebaini gave him a very, very good test. On a normal day, I think Reece James outdoes him. But you could tell he's just not as fast. His pace is lacking a little bit. And I think that's because of his injury. Little bit of time, and hopefully he brings that back. Because it's when you're out for so long, you're going to lose some sharpness. So there's that. Now, Malo Gusto came on in the second half. Malo Gusto has not set a foot wrong this pre-season. He looks quicker. He looks faster. He looks dynamic. He's solid. Defensively, he was getting those tackles in. He was bombarding himself forward. He was causing all sorts of threats. The quick combinations, 1-2. He was basically Reece James last season before his injury. Now, this is great for us because we have fantastic competition in that role now. You know, so whoever we turn to, we're sorted. I do think Reece James is the man to stick with, absolutely. But if something happens, mate, Malo Gusto is there and we are more than covered. So it's great to know. Great cover. Now, that's the back line. We move into midfield. I'm surprised. Enzo, fantastic ball distribution class. At times, was caught sleeping at moments, but I'm not going to criticise that because that can happen in midfield to anybody. But overall, good game. Gallagher. Now, I normally come on here and criticise him. I normally come on and be like, nah, you know what? He doesn't look like he's up to it and whatnot. I thought he was class. I thought he was everywhere. I don't know what Poch is doing to him. And the fact that he's in the double pivot. Do you remember when he was in the double pivot last season? We all came to the consensus that he should never play there again. Right? We were all like, no, do not stick Gallagher in the double pivot ever again. We don't want to see it. It does not work. Pochettino has done something. I don't know what it is. But he's got Gallagher moving everywhere. And the guy was a machine last night. Now, technically, on the ball, there's some refining to do. But I trust Poch in order to be able to get something out of him here. Because the improvement we've seen in such a short space of time is quite shocking. Based on last night's performance. In the double pivot. Now, Gallagher, as I've said, on the ball, I feel like at moments, he knows exactly where he's going. He knows exactly where he's going to move the ball to, and that's how he needs to be 100% of the time. His concentration needs to be on. There's times where he runs himself into a situation. The thing is, last season, he would have constantly lost the ball. Yesterday, he got himself out of those situations. So this is where you have to see, maybe it's a development, maybe it's Poch's work that he's getting him to refine in order to be a bit sharper and a bit wiser with the decisions he makes on the ball. But off it, and in terms of even with the ball and combining and being able to hit the 1-2s and move into certain spaces, his movement yesterday was excellent. Excellent. So, fair play. If this is what Conor Gallagher's going to be throughout this season, I've got no issue with him being in this team. Absolutely no issue. So, fair play to Conor Gallagher yesterday. One of the best players on the pitch. And Pochettino, credit to him for such a brilliant piece of work in such a short amount of time. And this goes to the point that Gallagher did made when we had the whole bidding thing going on. And we heard that Gallagher wanted to stay and fight for his place. Yesterday showed that he's fighting. That was fighting. Now what we saw yesterday was a player determined and showing that, no, I want to fight for my place. That was it. Great example. So, Connor, fair play to you. Absolute fair play. And keep it up. Keep it up. That's it. Keep it up. We move into the next line. Nkunku. Let's talk on Nkunku. He looks great. Nkunku looks fantastic, man. He is so creative and he creates things out of nothing sometimes. He creates a solution out of a problem on the spot. Pretty efficiently. But he got hit with that injury. Now, it's not a bad injury. It seems like he was walking after the game. It's just a precaution. He got taken off because he felt something in his knee. He felt it and he wasn't in pain, but he felt it because, I'm assuming, of that challenge in the box where he really should have won a penalty. But we kept the action going, and I think that's because why we didn't get a penalty. But because of that, I think that's what gave him a little twinge in his knee, and it seems like as a precaution he got taken off. He'll be okay. I think he'll be all right. Next few days we'll see what happens, but I think he'll definitely make it for the Liverpool game. Bearing in mind it's in 10 days' time, he'll be fine. So, Nkunku, class. Mudryk came on, right? Now, Mudryk, This is why when we see Arsenal fans and everyone going, oh no, Mudryk, look how much they spent. Yeah, now we're seeing this pre-season because we're the ones watching. They're not the ones watching. We're the ones watching. We're like, yeah, no, keep talking. Chelsea fans, we don't need to say much. Because what's going to come from this player is going to be mad. It's going to be mad. Let them talk. I mean, some of the movements that he made, some of the his control, like that control showed his confidence. It's not easy to try and pull that off and think, oh, it's going to work. And with the risk that it might not work and you might look stupid. He executed it perfectly. It's those little glimpses that you see that shows the confidence in the player is starting to come out. And he's starting to have belief. And he's starting to think, yeah, I've got this. That's what a player like Mudryk needs. And he's got it. And Potter's getting it out of him. His burst of pace is ridiculous. The way he cuts inside, he combines, he moves. And it's so quick. You just know. He's going to cause problems this season for all sorts of defences. He's going to cause problems. So, especially, and this is where it applies to last season. Last season, he had no one to combine with. Everyone was off. Everyone was just on the beach, or everyone didn't know what they were doing, or, we had someone impersonating a striker up top. This time, we've actually got players. You got Mudryk, and you got Nkunku, and you got Jackson, and Mudryk's going to cook. We'll see. I'm going to skip this player. I'm going to come to in the end. Jackson, we've already spoken about Chukwuemeka, like I've said. He's played fantastic in that role. Looks very composed, looks very calm. For his age and his experience so far, he does look better than what people think he is. And he doesn't really set a foot wrong. The one thing about Chukwuemeka is you don't see him lose the ball very much, do you? And that's the one thing that you have to have in that position. You have to have the ability in order to create, move the ball, create chances, shoot, pull them off, don't lose the ball, know what you're doing, and he does. He's got a sense of creativity in him. He doesn't look like the creative type, but he's got that creativity in him. You look at him and you think, no, he just looks like a bit of a powerhouse. But he's creative, and it's a great backup to have for Nkunku. Now, we are chasing Michael Olise and all of that, so we'll get to that, when it possibly comes. But Chukwuemeka is showing that he's definitely got a basis for something very, very good in this Chelsea team. So fair play to Carney. Nicholas Jackson didn't score yesterday. But again, just like his last game, and we're not going to say this is an excuse, but you have to say it's impossible for a striker to score every single game. This is why I said there's going to be moments where he doesn't score, but he's there. And the one thing that I love about Jackson, did you see at the end of the first half? Because he missed that chance. There was a ball over the top from Thiago Silva. Fantastic vision from Thiago Silva. Levi Colwell has that as well. So fair play to the both of them. But Jackson's picking the run. He knows just one look in the eye between the two players, I'm gone, he sends the ball. Beautiful. It's so unpredictable because you don't know when it's coming. There's one thing, teams do it because you know they're going to do it. You just know. Watch that striker is going to make a run. And then he tries, constantly trying to make the run. Timo Werner was one of those. You just knew what you had to do in order to defend that. With Jackson, it's unpredictable. You don't know. It's on the off chance. Once in a while, boom, he's made the run. Oh my God. And that's the unpredictability that this Chelsea team needs. You need unpredictability. You need your opposition to go, we don't know what they're going to do. That's what gets teams scared. So last season, for example, we were 100% predictable. You just knew. You knew exactly what the next pass would be. It was obvious. This season, looking different. This pre-season, definitely different. But Nicholas Jackson is a catalyst for that. His movement is unreal. Nicholas Jackson, the way he picks out his runs, his vision, his intelligence, his decision-making, his power, the way he shields the ball, the way he moves the ball, the way he gets around defenders, his physicality, his speed. He has everything. Everything you want in a striker. He is such an well-rounded striker. It's brilliant. It's beautiful to see. Now, that ball over the top, Nicholas Jackson managed to get it into his stride, tried to get round the goalkeeper and pull the shot off. Very good shot, to be honest. It was very powerful. He could have gone for placement if you think about it, but he went for power and it just went over the bar. Unlucky. It's one of those things. But you can just see the threat of player there is there. Now, at the end of the first half, the point I was going to make, did you see what he done? Because it was close to the end of the first half when he missed that chance. And then at the end of the first half, what did he do? Ref blows the whistle. He goes to his knees and starts slamming the ground. The man is hungry. You can see when Maatsen came on as well, and he goes straight to Maatsen and he's directing him in terms of exactly what he wants from him. Nicholas Jackson has this confidence, belief and knowledge in himself that I know what to do. Just throw me the ball and I will execute this. He's got this hunger. Man, we have strived for that. This is what makes me confident in Nicholas Jackson. I love watching Nicholas Jackson now, and I can't wait to see what he's going to do this season. He is going to smash it. He's going to smash. I will say that now. Remember this. He's going to smash it. Wait and see. But, again, shall we take it on the down low? Shall we just let the action do the talking? Let's let the action do the talking. Liverpool are going to be the first victims. Now, talking about victim, we're the victims of this because Sterling. Where do I start? Where do I start? I don't think I need to start. He doesn't belong in the lineup. It's as simple as that. He does not belong in the lineup. I don't want to be harsh and be like, no, you're rubbish. Like, I don't want to take that route. But he looks lost. He looks lost. The guy is lost. He doesn't fit. It's like trying to get a square into a circle-shaped hole. It's not working. I can't get it in. It's not happening. Sterling is that. The man is, he looks so one-dimensional, man. So one-dimensional. You just know he's going to get the ball. You know what he's going to do. Makes the wrong decision. His decision-making is in the toilet. His decision-making is in the loo. You know, at times where he has to make a pass, he doesn't. He decides to run with it and run into trouble, run into 5 defenders. He decides at the time you have to run with it, he doesn't. He wants to pass sideways. The time he has to shoot, now he's going to pass. When he has to pass, he shoots. The whole thing is nuts. Like that one point where there was two actions, actually. One where he could have made the pass through, he doesn't, he goes wide. That could have been a goal-scoring opportunity. The other one, where he does send a ball over to Nicholas Jackson. And people are going to give him the praise for that. I'm not. Because a player of his experience should know. And I have to understand that the pitch was horrific, by the way. Can we take a little detour? Whoever's in charge of that pitch, whoever allowed this game to go ahead after a concert, an Ed Sheeran concert where everyone was allowed on the pitch, you lot are mad. Before pre-season, do you not want injuries to happen? You know, we're lucky we didn't actually walk away with an injury yesterday. Neither did Dortmund. Because that was a horrific surface. I've played on better surfaces at Hackney Marshes. It's honestly, anyway, that's a story for a different day. Thankfully, everyone made it through. But that pass on the right-hand side that Sterling sent to Jackson, and as I said, people are going to praise him and go, no, he gave him the ball. Fantastic. Yeah, but he gave him the ball in the air. What's Jackson going to do with the ball bouncing to him? He has to take a moment to control it. You know, send it to him on the ground, and yes, it might bobble a little bit because of the pitch, and that's why I have to say it might bobble. But in terms of your experience, you should know. Just provide it to him on the ground. That way he can get it straight into his stride without having to control it, smash it into the net. It doesn't. It's bouncing. So he has to take a touch. Defender comes in. Chance wasted. Now he's got to wait to see who's coming in. And he did. And he had the option. He got the ball central. And I forgot who took the shot. Was it Carney? I think it was Carney. But this is what I'm saying. Just the awareness isn't there. Sterling looks baffled. And it's been game after game after game after game after game. People talking about experience. Now, for me, there's no experience in this. He shouldn't play against Liverpool. He's going to be a threat to us. As simple as that. It's going to be it's going to be a position that we have to turn and go, we might make mistakes because of this. You know, it might let us down. When you look at Mudryk, you look at Maatsen, those two should be starting, if I'm honest. If anything, Madueke, we've not even seen him this pre-season, which is the bad thing. If not, I'd be turning to Madueke. Angelo Gabriel, is he going out on loan or not? I'd rather start Angelo Gabriel on the right-hand side than Sterling. So there's that. Has to be made. This point has to be made. Sterling looks completely baffled. So there we go. Then later on, we had those introductions. Ian Maatsen, for example, did come on. See, when Ian Maatsen came on for Carney, was in that middle role. Just brilliant combination. His awareness is class. Maatsen surprises me because he's so versatile. I didn't know he could play, up front not up front as a striker, but in the attack, whether it's in the middle or on the flank. I thought he was just a left back, and he's turning out to be all sorts. We might have to stick him in goal and see if he can play in goal, maybe to compete with Kepa at this point, because he can do it all. So absolutely fair play to him. We had in the second half towards the end, Mason Burstow come on for Jackson, Lewis Hall come on for Sterling. We can't really analyse their performances too much. I only played for 10 minutes, except for one. and that is Mason Burstow. Huge congratulations on the goal. Ball came in. Eventually, one ball came back across. Mason Burstow hits it into the corner of the net, and it's a great moment. I'm very, very happy for him. It's a big moment for him personally, for his career. I know he's going to probably go out on loan and whatnot, so I'm going to wish him the best of luck this season, but I'm very, very happy. When he scored, a smile just went on my face. I'm just like, man, I'm really happy for you. I'm really, really happy for you, man. It couldn't happen to anyone nicer at that moment in that time. Because Mason Burstow, striker, comes from the academy. This is a great moment for him. I'm just genuinely happy for the lad. So, yeah, Mason Burstow, remember the name. But there we are. That's overall, and as I said, look, it finished 1-1. Great pre-season overall. We've learned a lot. We look fit. We look sharper. It goes to show that pre-season last season was absolutely horrific. But it's all positive. It's all positive so far in terms of what we've seen, and bring on Liverpool in 10 days' time. Now, what I do want to say is the team have to come back immediately, fly back to England, right, and get yourselves training and ready for the Liverpool game. We don't want any jet lag or anything kicking in towards the latter stages before we have to play Liverpool. Get back immediately and then prepare for the entire week for the Liverpool game, and let's get it over and done with. So that's Chelsea. Congrats on the great preseason. We leave unbeaten, and let's bring on Liverpool. Now, I did promise yesterday, quick word on Arsenal and quick word on Liverpool. Arsenal finished 1-1 with Monaco, and they don't look bad at all. Arsenal do not look bad at all. They look like that they are slowly but surely starting to get their mojo back. Just in terms of fitness and sharpness, you could argue they were looking a little bit lackluster compared to how they were last season, but that's normal. That's the whole point of pre-season. Monaco gave them a good game. Went to penalties. Jorginho and Havertz scored their penalties, so they did win the Emirates Cup in the end. But Arsenal, I feel like, are going to be a threat this season. Do watch out for Arsenal. If anything, when you look at Man City, and you can see that they're going to dip. They're going to dip because you've won the treble. You're going to dip. It's just normal. You're going to dip. And they've let go of certain players. Don't know whether they're going to hold the same sort of effect. But Arsenal haven't let go of anyone. In fact, they've just added. So it's a case of, I think Arsenal will be a legit threat this season. So let's wait and see what happens there. Liverpool, now, because they're our opponents, it's only right to mention them. We're facing them in the first game of the season. I do want to say, compared to how we've seen Chelsea yesterday and how we saw Liverpool yesterday, I am quite optimistic for this game against Liverpool. Why? Because, yes, on the attack, Liverpool look potent, they look solid, they look fantastic, they look good going forward. At good times as well, they're able to get good through balls in if you allow them to. If we're solid defensively and we've got enough runners in order to cover, we'll be okay, I reckon. I think we'll be all right. But the worry that Liverpool have is defensively, they are open. Now, I know Konate is going to come in for Matip. Matip looks horrific, by the way. If you didn't watch Liverpool yesterday against Bayern Munich, it's like a knife through hot butter. Or hot knife through butter. Whatever you want to say. If you've warmed the knife up or you've warmed the butter up. Whatever. But the butter's splitting. And the defence at Liverpool splitting very easily. So that's definitely something for Nico Jackson to possibly penetrate into. So we'll see what's going to happen in that first game against Liverpool. But I have to say, with what I've seen so far, I am optimistic. Liverpool lost 4-3 yesterday. Result doesn't really count because goals can happen. Much like Dortmund's goal happened yesterday. It is what it is. It can happen. But overall in the performances, their defence looks little shaky. So is that something Chelsea can exploit? Let me know down below in the comment section below. And yeah, we'll gear up to the new season and what's going to happen in 10 days time. Now, make sure to be here for video number 2 later on as we get into the news. There's already been bits of news, but I will cover it later on tonight, so make sure you guys are here. In order to be here for that, you have to subscribe, so hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded. Don't forget to hit the socials. Links are in the description and on screen for you right now, so make sure you hit us a follow. Much appreciated, and I will see all of you later on tonight for video number 2. So much appreciated, people. Have a good one. Leave me your comments down below, and I will see you tonight. Take care, and peace.